surprise that figures. That's a way of looking at creating audience laughter. It's also a good way of writing any kind of story. It was Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, who said that a story is based upon surprising the reader with the inevitable. Which is why when you look at movies, say like Titanic, nobody walked in there, or I hope they didn't, thinking, oh, I wonder if the boat will be okay at the end. Everybody walks in and we know that the Titanic is going down and there's nothing that will stop it. So where's the surprise? And the surprise in James Cameron's film comes in Who Survives. And eventually it gets down to Jack and Rose on a door that I contend could have easily fit them both. But Jack and Rose saying one of us has to go, and Jack says, okay, I will surrender my life for love. And he drops into the icy water, and she floats up on a door that, again, really could have fit two, possibly even, three with some luggage. But let's not start that fight. Surprise the audience with something that makes sense. Okay, I'll tell you a joke. You've heard it. Why did the chicken cross the road? And the answer, spoiler alert, is to get to the other side, which we already knew. The punchline is not only factual, but it makes sense, and we should have seen that coming because we knew it before the joke started. That if a chicken's going to cross a road, then it's because it wants to get to the other side of the road above all other considerations. But it's a surprise because we didn't know where the punchline was going to be coming from. Another joke I heard more recently than the dawn of time is a young polar bear goes up to his mum and says, Mum, I'm a polar bear, right? And she says, darling, of course you're a polar bear. He says, and you're a polar bear? And Mum says, yes, of course I'm a polar bear. Well, what about Dad? Says the young polar bear. And the mother says, of course your dad is a polar bear too. Why do you ask? And the young polar bear says, because I'm freezing. So the surprise is telling us what we already know. I mean, polar bears, no matter how hairy they are, you've got to be cold in the snow all day. So, but it's a surprise that this would be the young polar bear's problem when we hear it, of course, because it does make sense that polar bears are cold, particularly in the Arctic in the middle of winter. So when you look at jokes and when you look at routines, when you look at people who are telling you things that make an audience laugh, it's worth looking for how they're surprising you with something that the audience immediately has to accept and understand because it's true. It was inevitable. Now, of course, I think it was Mark Twain who said truth is like poetry. Nobody likes poetry. And I guess that's where sometimes a joke can end up getting you in trouble because you're saying things that you believe are true, even if they're easy enough to prove. But there might be people in your audience who don't believe that that's the right way to go about whatever it might be. But that's your problem. It's not the principal's problem, and Aristotle really doesn't care anymore. And his lawyers, I never hear from them. So it's important to think of, when you want to make an audience laugh, you put all the information together that the audience needs. And when the punchline comes, it comes as a surprise, but it all makes sense. It all figures. It was inevitable.